Over the next few minutes, we will explain what reoccurring entries are and we'll show you how to set them up. One of the ways we can speed up data entry is by creating reoccurring entries for journal entries that we routinely make on a periodic basis. Reoccurring entries is a function that allows you to record journal entries for future posting, assign a schedule for routine posting, and generate reoccurring entry batches in periodic processing. In order for us to work with reoccurring entries, we first have to define the reoccurring entry in Setup, and then we can process reoccurring entries in General Ledger. Let's take a look at how to set up a reoccurring entry. Go to General Ledger, GL Setup, then select Reoccurring Entries. The first thing that I need to define is a code for the reoccurring entry that I'm setting up. Let's say that I'm setting up a rent reoccurring entry, which is something that I do on a monthly basis. Enter an entry description, I can specify a schedule code. The schedule code comes from Common Services, where I can assign a schedule to a user, and that user will get a reminder when tasks under that schedule need to be performed. Or I can manually generate the reoccurring entry as necessary. I would enter a start date, I can also specify an expiration date if necessary. Everything from this description field onward are the standard fields that we have when we are recording a journal entry. The description, source code, entry mode, and down into the detail lines provide all the same journal entry fields that I have access to on a standard journal entry. Enter the account number, then enter the debit amount. When I'm finished, I can go ahead and add this journal entry. Note that this is a reoccurring entry. I haven't added this onto my journal entries for posting yet. In this case, I have set it up to be a monthly basis based on the schedule code that I have defined in my Common Services. If you need to edit the schedule code, you can always zoom into the schedule code to see how that has been defined for you. This says that on the first day of the month, this transaction will occur. To actually generate the reoccurring entry in the General Ledger, under GL Periodic Processing, I have the ability to create a reoccurring entries batch. I can enter a run date, I can enter my reoccurring entry code, I can also choose whether I'm adding it to an existing batch or creating a new GL batch. I will say create a new batch. Note that reoccurring entry was set to January 1st and I am putting a run date of February 1st. There will be two journal entries generated, one for January and one for February. I can see those reoccurring entries in my batch list. Here is my reoccurring entry batch. If I double-click to go into the reoccurring entry batch, you can see that I have my description, and I have my debit and credit for the first period, and then for the second period as well. Now please pause this video and open the document with the exercises. This document can be found in your learning package on Sage University. In order to practice creating a reoccurring entry and processing a reoccurring entry batch, complete Exercise 1 and Exercise 2 from the Periodic Processing lesson. Were you able to create and process reoccurring entries? Great! Congratulations! You now know how to work with reoccurring entries to speed up transaction entry and record your routine journal entries without having to manually key them in month over month.